In the headlines, the public tool to help prevent a gastroenteritis outbreak ahead of Carnival. Newly elected President Gavin Richards charges media practitioners to tackle the injustices in society. And Cricket West Indies to improve relations with players by introducing contracts for all game formats. I am Andrea Lee with the Channel 5 News. Back with the details after this.
Rudolph Thomas Enterprise in Portsmouth, your suppliers of building materials and hardware products. Over 20 years experience in the business. Rudolph Thomas has lumber and plywood, galvanized and fenced pipe. Check out Rudolph Thomas for ceramic and vinyl floor and wall tiles, nails, nuts and bolts, paint and painting supplies. And check out their line of electrical and hand tools. Go now to Rudolph Thomas on 1240 Bay Street in Portsmouth.
Do you need more cash for that home improvement? Then come to Fast Cash, where we give you more. At Fast Cash, our customers get more funds and more time to repay. But wait, can't come to us? We'll come to you, and our mobile officer will get you on your way. Small businesses, consumers, and taxi owners. Fast Cash has more for everyone. Simply call or visit any of our locations for more. Smarter, faster, better. Fast Cash. Terms and conditions apply.
Thank you for staying with us. First up, the Environmental Health Department is challenging the public to play its part in preventing an above-normal increase in the number of gastroenteritis cases. The primary concern of the EHD heading into the peak of Carnival celebrations is to curb the number of gastroenteritis cases. Senior Environmental Health Officer at the Environmental Health Department, Sylvester Senville, said there has been an increase in the number of reported gastroenteritis cases, and while the figures do not indicate an outbreak, the public must be more vigilant in the days leading up to Carnival festivities.
Even with Carnival, we are also concerned about the spread of gastroenteritis. That's a disease of the gastrointestinal tract. Over the past few weeks, we've been having an increasing number of cases of gastroenteritis, and we are concerned that if we do not curb the spread present right now, then it could get into the Carnival where people let their guard down, eat and drink anywhere, you know. So we are very concerned, and our food handlers training sessions, our public education have been centered around gastroenteritis and how to prevent the spread of that disease.
Has it reached a stage where you call it an outbreak?
Well, not really, but you see, one case more than what we are accustomed to having is alarming for us in Dominica, because we know our health system has been burdened post-Maria, our workforce is also burdened, and then every case we can prevent is extremely important to us at Environmental Health and the Ministry of Health. It's not widespread, you know, so we are working in communities where we have identified an increase in the number of cases.
The Environmental Health Department has embarked on its usual food handlers training sessions with special emphasis on preventing the spread of gastroenteritis for vendors who plan to sell food on the roadside during Carnival.
The Environmental Department has already gone through its procedures and processes for Carnival. Over the past few days, the officers have been having food handlers training sessions on mass gathering events, because Carnival is going to be that kind of event where you have a number of people culminating or flocking into the city and areas where Carnival is being celebrated. So they've been discussing with vendors, working with the village councils and the city council on what's the best strategy moving forward for sale of food on the sidewalks. Remember, after Maria, we had banned the sale of food on the sidewalks because of the conditions that was existing in Roseau at the time, dust and wastewater issues. But now the situation has improved significantly, and then Carnival is going to be here, and many people are looking forward to Carnivals.
Senville says there are signs the public can look out for in order to protect themselves during the festive season.
The patrons who can be vigilant should be vigilant. They should be aware of their surroundings, be aware of flies, be aware of food preparation practices, food handling practices, in order to protect themselves. Because while the vendor may be maybe equipped to prevent football illness. There are times that they themselves let their guard down. They themselves are overwhelmed by the crowd, and so these are some of the things that but patrons need to be vigilant, need to put in place measures to protect themselves. Look out for those things: flies, poor handling of food, no hand washing facilities. These are some of the things, because we can't be there to police vendors. That's not our responsibility. We provide them with the education, we provide the information, we provide the public with the information so that they themselves can make decisions for themselves.
In other top stories, the trade union representing employees of the Dominica Brewery and Beverages Limited has reservations over the reconstruction of the factory at the same location. Dominica Baptist explains.
The Dominica Brewery and Beverages Limited plant, located at Loubier, was destroyed by Hurricane Maria, putting operations at a standstill for 3 months. The company, which produces the local Kubali beer, Loubier spring water and other beverages, was forced to relocate its distribution operations to the Dominica Coconut Products Complex at Belfast. The Waterfront and Allied Workers Union represents the employees of the Brazilian-owned company.
The concern that I would have is to ensure that they don't locate themselves in an area similar to where they were, because the hills could create a threat in the event that there is a repeat of what we have had in 2017. Once the ground is saturated, you could have slippages, and that could create problems. So I think they would have to look for a location that is not under a hill or under a mountain. And that would give a certain level of security and guarantee to the workforce.
Have you gotten any word whether they're actually considering going back to that same facility?
No, but you never can tell. If they try to see if they could get other locations and they are not successful in that, they may very well have to look at that area again.
Augusta says while the management team has not directly communicated with the trade union since the September 2017 disaster, he has been trying to make contact with the company's human resource manager based in St. Vincent.
Now, what we are saying is that area have in fact indicated something clearly to them, and that they should take that on board in the event that they are in fact seriously thinking of relocating in the same place, because it presents certain challenges. And therefore, we will have to engage them and let them know how we think in terms of that particular location and what can be done in that regard. I think they should, in fact, engage the authorities and seek some assistance from the authorities in terms of a new location. And that would make it easy for, let's say, the workers to know that they are operating in a relatively safe area.
In related news, no clear picture regarding how reconstruction of the DBBL plant will be done to consider the suitability of the location.
DBBL's commercial coordinator, Jasmine Hamilton, says management met with the Prime Minister and committed to rebuilding, but she does not have details on whether it will be at the existing plant or at another site. The Kubali beer is being brewed at the company's sister brewery in St. Vincent. The first shipment to Dominica since Hurricane Maria arrived in December.
And we want Dominicans to at least consume the product, be proud of what Kubali is, be proud that we're able to bring back something Dominican on our shelves, and Maria did not take away everything from us completely. We've already gotten the commitment from our parent company that the plant will be rebuilt, even bigger and better. So I think it's not all bleak for Dominica right now. We have good things coming, and all you can do is just support the product. No matter where it is made right now, it remains Dominican.
Hamilton told Channel 5 News the plant staff is currently engaged in different activities at the Loubier factory. DBBL's distribution warehouse was located in Fokoli before it was moved to Belfast on DCP compound following Hurricane Maria. DBBL, which manufactures Kubali beer, Shandy, Carry Malt and Ginseng Plus, is owned by Brazil Brewing Company Ambev as of February 2010. Dominica Baptist, Channel 5 News.
President of the newly formed Dominica Media and Communications Association, Gavin Richards, has challenged media practitioners not to turn a blind eye to reporting on the injustices in society.
The Dominica Media and Communications Association, formerly Dominica Press Corps, was renamed after a majority vote at its inaugural AGM on Saturday. The executive and the membership agreed that the name Press Corps limited its potential membership reach based on advice from veteran journalist Steinberg Henry. DBS Radio Sports editor Gavin Richards was elected unopposed. The association is seeking to be recognized by the Association of Caribbean Media Workers as the official body to represent local media practitioners.
My fellow media colleagues, we are at the crossroads. The future of the media practice rests in our hands. The next few months will decide if Dominica remains a member of the Association of Caribbean Media Workers. In 2018, this ought not to be the case. Dominica has produced the likes of the great Ken and Peter Richards, Curtis Matthew, the award-winning Felix Henderson, and Felix Augustine Jr. of GIS and BET fame, Ferdinand Frampton, may his soul rest in peace, and Dennis Joseph, to name a few. It is a shame that in 2018, Dominica's position on the ACM has been suspended. We have let down the pioneers who blazed the way before us, but all is not lost. But we can only achieve this if we work together.
Richards told his media colleagues that the work to elevate the standards of their profession should not only rest on the shoulders of the executive.
You have seen the achievements of the Dominica Press Corps in just a few months of existence. Imagine what can happen in a year. But we have to continue to work hard. It cannot just fall on the feet of the executive. The membership also has to be actively involved. We must remember that we as the media have a code of ethics that we must uphold. We must report the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help us God. We must feel free to operate in an environment free from political and corporate interference. We must not turn a blind eye to the injustices in society for fear of stepping on someone's toes. It is not the intention of the Dominica Press Corps to operate as a political party or a trade union, but we will not sit by silently on serious matters affecting the country, but neither will we be bullied by any political party, red, blue, green, or yellow, to give inputs on issues.
The other executive members are Vice President Idona John Baptist, Chad George Treasurer, Sheena Harry, PRO, Keisha Polidor, Secretary, and Kashina Joseph, Assistant Secretary, Treasurer.
Over $2 million to be disbursed for environmentally friendly, climate-resilient community projects later this month. That's the aim of Jeff Small Grants Program as it seeks to gain traction and resume its climate-resilient focus projects post-Maria. The Global Environment Facility Jeff Small Grants Program provides financial and technical support to projects that conserve and restore the environment while enhancing people's well-being and livelihoods. National Coordinator of the Small Grants Program, Agnes Esprit, says numerous projects were put on hold as a result of the storm, but some should resume by the middle of February.
These projects, some of them will no longer priority. Some we still have to consider, but we have decided to look at more urgent projects. So we have not just put them out, it's just that they were not urgent at the time in terms of responding to Maria. And our funding, our balance of funding is very limited, so we really had to prioritize. But what we're doing is looking at the new proposals we have, and we have applied for or requested additional funding to support Jeff Small Grants going forward, especially in this post-Maria situation. And we think it's going to be favorable. Each of the projects would have various varying degrees of damages. But what we are going to support them with is at least 250,000 EC dollars. Just for more or less repairs, get back the main equipment they were missing and so on. Some of them will have to write a new project to get them to a level where they need to be post-Maria.
Esprit is optimistic that the climate-resilient focused projects will help better prepare communities mitigate the effects of climate change.
All our projects have some element of building resilience, and we also had a special funding under the SEEDS, Small Island Developing States Community-Based Adaptation Project, that was focused on building resilience, getting communities to adapt to the impact of climate change and build resilience to reduce the risk, the impacts of the risk. So we had, for example, the storm drain in Bagatelle and the storm drain in Kalibishi, and they both were very effective in terms of saving lives and property in both communities. We have been doing tree planting, reforestation. We had a major reforestation project in the Kalinago territory. So all these are some of the projects that would enable communities to build resilience.
The national coordinator is also reporting an increase in the number of project proposals for grant funding since Hurricane Maria. And critical investments could be made this year to enable the Dominica Solid Waste Management Corporation to improve garbage collection across the country. The corporation currently has 4 functional trucks to cover the island, but it is not enough. This year's goal is to improve on the corporation's efforts to become more efficient and timely in its refuse collection.
What we have done in reviewing again the collection system in Dominica, we have actually categorized the island into 7 zones. So if you were to say you need 7 pieces of equipment, 1 per zone. So looking at the projections and what we need, we'll be receiving 2 in the first quarter. Then in the second quarter, we'll receive another 1, and all that is brand new trucks, so that would be free, plus what you have. Then again, going forward, we have a project through the Economic Grant Aid Program through the Embassy of Japan, where we shall be receiving an additional free compactor trucks and an excavator. I mean, as I always tell people, you do not collect alone, but you're going to dispose. So even if you're enhancing your collection equipment, your collection fleet, you also have to enhance your capability at the landfill now to be able to process that material, to be able to compact and deliver that material efficiently.
The Fokole landfill occupies 17 acres of land, but this is land which has been used way past its prescribed 10 years.
We have an expansion plan that was done by the World Bank, basically a World Bank consultant a couple of years back. We're looking at before the hurricane. We already expanded, meaning your tipping area, not the physical boundaries of your facility, but your actual tipping area. If you have 17 acres of land, your tipping area is enclosed within that 17 acres of land. So you could either go west, north, south, and expand your actual tipping area. That would allow for more space in terms of dealing with the material. What about a new location? Again, those are some of the things that we're looking into in terms of looking for a new location for a new landfill. Also, or the method of waste disposal. Are we always going to continue landfilling? Are we going to explore waste energy? And those intricacies that needs to be done in the feasibility aspect of it, in terms of going to waste to energy, in terms of proper sites and location for a new landfill. Or are we going to decentralize the service? As opposed to having one landfill, are we going to have different transfer stations where people within the Portsmouth area could bring their refuse closer, and then that is transported to a central landfill? So all those areas are being looked at.
This is the Channel 5 News. Your sports highlights next.
M&J Covering is the producer of designed galvanized and galvalume in Dominica. They design to your specifications, color and length, 4 styles of galvanized and galvalume pre-painted roofing sheets as requested, and supply all your galvalume accessories. M&J Covering helps you control spending and reduce waste. At M&J Covering, they are also equipped to build your roof to precise standards anywhere on island. So come to M&J Covering at 1 Mile in Portsmouth, or call 445-5001, 275-5003 today.
Trust me, fellas, HIV is for real. Don't take chances, it's not worth it. Use a condom every time, fellas. The choice is yours. Don't take chances. I played safe. I use a condom every time. You should as well.
A message brought to you from the National HIV/AIDS Response Program, reminding you to be safe this carnival.
Welcome back. Cricket West Indies has recently implemented new measures to improve its relationship with players. Kenny Williams has that story.
This according to Vice President Emmanuel Nanton, who says the board hopes to reach an amicable end to past misunderstanding with players with the recent implementation of player contracts for various formats of the game. In January, CWI announced as of July 1, it will offer 3 sets of contracts to players for test and limited overs. Responding to a question on how this new initiative could help resolve a history of players opting not to play for the team, Nanton says this move by the organization could be the solution. However, he noted the organization will continue to make decisions that benefit all and sundry.
Because we do not want to keep asking players, because we pick players, and we try to pick, or we ask the selectors to consider and pick all players. But because we're not sure of some people's availability, we say if we consider you for selection and you tell us twice that you are not available for whatever reasons, we cannot continue indefinitely considering you. So we are going to inform the players that if you have for twice made yourself unavailable for reasons, we will write you and tell you, because we don't want to look like idiots in simple local parlance, we will give you the opportunity to write to us when you think we can consider you again. So if we consider you twice and you made yourself not available, we cannot continue all the time. So we will write. You will have to write to us to tell us I am available from henceforth going forward. So we wouldn't keep selecting people or considering people who tell us at the 11th hour that we're not available.
Meantime, Cricket West Indies product has been suffering in some way or another due to players choosing other cricket leagues over playing for their home team. Nanton says CWI has offered all players a clean slate moving forward and is hoping this initiative bears fruit.
Without the players, we cannot have cricket. So we say, through my most grievous fault, any sins that I have forgiven, I ask for forgiveness. I have committed, I ask for forgiveness. And any sins that you have forgiven, I grant you on bended knees forgiveness. And welcome back into the fold that is our cricket as a Caribbean civilization, as a Caribbean nation, because this thing of Caribbean cricket is bigger than all of us, individually and collectively. So we allow all players to come back in. Then we went on to say anybody who has any issues, we forgive, and please come back. We subsequently to that went on to forgive all players and selected or considered for selection a number of players. But we said, you know, players, we give contract to players, and some of them, because they want to make more money, we recognize that and we identify with that. We want the players to make as much money as possible. So they cannot all play red ball cricket. So we're going to give you some white ball cricket as well, so we give you stability in your life.
West Indies has been suffering mostly in the test format and runs the risk of losing its ICC test team status. Whether or not this new initiative by Cricket West Indies will cause players to skip more lucrative leagues to play for their home team is anyone's guess.
In other sporting highlights, national cyclist Bram Sanderson finished 33 minutes ahead to win the second cycling race for the year on Sunday. Here again is Kenny Williams.
Crossing the finish line in 3 hours and 40 minutes, Sanderson completed the Woodbridge Bay to Portsmouth route with varying levels of difficulty. Although pleased with his position in the race, Sunday's winner admitted his time was not what he anticipated. In the 2017 OACS Cycling Championship, which was a similar route, Sanderson clocked 3 hours and 29 minutes, but rode 11 minutes slower on Sunday. Levi and Kohath Barron tied in second place, while Philip Eugene finished third.
From the start of the race, I decided to put a bit of pressure on the rest of the riders, and as soon as they said go, I attacked. But Kohath, he maintained with me until we reached about 34 kilometers in the race. That's about Collio, and From there, I started to experience some cramps. So I had to stop and turn around, went back down the hill, start climbing again. My gears were skipping, so it was irregular. So my legs was cramping up going to Portsmouth. So I had to now catch up because the guys left me. So I had to pursue them. And then in Portsmouth, I think, well, what happened was Coaf actually went to Picard, turned, and came back before I even reached into Portsmouth.
Meantime, Sanderson says things are looking up with regards to his preparation for 2 major competitions this year. He is expected to compete in the OECS Cycling Championship and the Commonwealth Games.
Day by day. 2 weeks, you can see a difference. I really like the way my body is responding under pressure. I did not feel fatigue. I'm feeling good. It's just that I experienced cramps because of the change of, I think it's the change of bikes and the irregular skipping of the gears. But my legs, I just eliminate the pain in my mind. My legs was still giving me the power that I need, but they were just pulling a lot because it wasn't, you know, maybe didn't drink enough water because of the bike, the change of the bike. So bit by bit, we're working at it. A special thanks to the Dominica Cycling Association for how they placed the races to help me get to those games. The next race will be in this month, so I'm happy that every other 2 weeks we can get into the competition and evaluate where my body is and how the progress is. So it's day by day, just have fun, work hard.
The next local race is carded for February 25 from Roseau to Canefield and back, approximately 6 times.
And the Ministry of Sports is reporting that 3 weeks of restorative work on the Geneva playing field have started to bear fruit. Kenny Williams reports.
Honorable Minister for Sports Justina Charles pointed out there has been some improvement to the Geneva playing grounds as our ministry continues to carry out work there. The playing field in Grand Bay has been used for multiple sporting disciplines prior to Hurricane Maria, and the Minister for Sports is reiterating the call for its reinstatement in the soonest possible time.
The Geneva playing field was one of the areas that was heavily damaged during the passage of Maria. What is going on presently is that I have engaged about 4 chainsaw operators and 10 laborers to assist in cutting off the many logs that were out there, and what they are doing is cutting up of the logs and setting it on fire, because it's really a lot of log for us to be moving from one point to another. And because of the amount of sand that is on the playing field, I am not sure, I don't think it's going to affect deep below, maybe the grass that's there. But I'm hoping that, in fact, they've done 2 weeks of serious work, and I'm really, really impressed with the amount of work that they've been pushing. But at the end of 2 weeks, we were not complete. So presently, as we speak, they are trying to end up by tomorrow, which is an additional 3rd week, so that they can clear off the field completely of all logs and all stones.
Meantime, Charles noted the significance of having drainage and grading work done to the playing field, as well as repairs to the players' pavilion. She says her ministry is in contact with the relevant authorities to ensure those things become a reality soon.
That I've invited the Public Works Department, to go up to Geneva to assess the situation, to give us an estimate on how much it's going to cost us to grade it. But because of all the logs that were there, they were not able to do a proper assessment. So what they've said is, as soon as we are finished with clearing enough of the logs, they will return, and then they will be able to give us a costing. Now, as soon as that costing is received, we will also engage them to really grade the area for us to bring the surface to as close as possible to where we would want it. And I think the material on the playing field presently is ideal to allow proper drainage, because that was one of our concerns. 2017-2018 budget, we appropriated to 500,000 towards the drainage, to start the drainage on the Geneva playing field. Now that we have that volume of sand on it, I was informed by the engineer who did the assessment that he thinks that sand is adequate to help to control some of the drainage. As soon as they can give us the estimate, we can draw down, the ministry can draw down the money from the Ministry of Finance so that we can begin work. In relation to the pavilion too was heavily damaged. The roof went, part of the structure itself got broken down. But what I have done is I'm asked somebody from Public Works. In fact, the Chief Technical Officer looked at it and sent somebody from the Ministry of Public Works to assess the building so that we can determine to what extent we are going to repair it or whether it needed demolition. But from the first view, they think that the structure is strong enough that we can work with it. So what we are doing is to get the estimate, and the engineer did tell me, in fact the architect did tell me, at least by next week I will get the assessment on how much it's going to cost for us to repair the pavilion.
The minister says she is dedicated to completing that project as she believes re-establishing that sporting ground will have multiple benefits for sports here.
To end the news, the headlines again. The public told to help prevent a gastroenteritis outbreak ahead of Carnival. Newly elected President Garvin Richards charges media practitioners to tackle injustices in society. And Cricket West Indies to improve relations with players by introducing contracts for all game formats. Feel free to contact us at news@marpin2k4.com. You can also access our past newscasts on our YouTube channel. On behalf of the entire production team, I am Andrea Louis, and to all of our viewers around the world, thank you so much for watching. Join us next time.